Chuck Norris was born as Carlos Ray Norris on March 10, 1940, in Ryan, Oklahoma. His early years were far from the confident image the world later saw on screen. Life at home was unstable and shaped by poverty and constant uncertainty. His father struggled with alcohol and anger, creating a tense environment where young Chuck and his brothers often felt afraid and powerless. His mother worked tirelessly to keep the family afloat, doing everything she could to provide stability despite overwhelming challenges. In those early days, Chuck was a quiet and withdrawn child who rarely spoke up in school and often felt invisible among classmates. He lacked confidence and carried a deep sense of self-doubt. Yet those early hardships would quietly plant the seeds of resilience. Long before championship titles or Hollywood fame, Chuck's first challenge was simply learning how to believe that his life could be different. Searching for identity. During his teenage years, Chuck struggled to find a sense of direction. Moving frequently between towns meant he rarely had time to form friendships or feel connected to a community. At school, he kept to himself, uncertain about his place in the world and unsure of his abilities. Like many young people growing up in difficult circumstances, he questioned whether he would ever rise above the limitations around him. At 18, he made a decision that would change his life. He joined the United States Air Force. It was less about ambition and more about escape, a chance to leave behind the environment that had defined his childhood. The military gave him structure, discipline, and distance from the struggles of home. Although he was still shy and unsure of himself, the experience opened the door to new possibilities and introduced him to people and ideas that would slowly reshape how he viewed himself. Discovering martial arts. While stationed in South Korea during his service in the Air Force, Chuck encountered something that would alter his life forever: martial arts. Curious and searching for purpose, he began training in the Korean discipline of Tang Soo Do. At first, the training was incredibly challenging. His movements felt awkward, and his progress was slow compared with others. But unlike the criticism he had known earlier in life, martial arts offered a different environment. Instructors encouraged persistence and self-control rather than perfection. Through long hours of practice, Chuck discovered something powerful. Discipline could transform doubt into confidence. The philosophy behind martial arts also resonated deeply with him. It emphasized respect, patience, and personal growth rather than aggression. Day after day, he returned to training, pushing through frustration and fatigue. By the time his military service ended, martial arts had given him something he had never truly felt before: a sense of direction. Building a path back home. When Chuck returned to the United States in the early 1960s, martial arts was still unfamiliar to many Americans. He faced the difficult reality of starting from scratch while supporting a young family. During the day, he worked ordinary jobs to pay the bills, but in the evenings, he practiced relentlessly, determined not to lose what he had discovered overseas. Eventually, he opened a small martial arts school in California. The beginning was slow and uncertain. For weeks, the studio remained nearly empty, and there were moments when he wondered if the dream would collapse before it began. Gradually, however, students started to arrive. They were drawn not only to his skill but also to his calm and dedicated approach to teaching. As word spread, Chuck began competing in karate tournaments, where his discipline and precision quickly gained attention. One victory led to another, and soon he became one of the most respected competitors in the sport. Becoming a champion. Throughout the late 1960s and early 1970s, Chuck Norris established himself as a dominant figure in competitive karate. His fighting style was known for its control, timing, and strategic precision. Over several years, he won multiple championships and earned a reputation as one of the top martial artists in the world. These achievements brought recognition within martial arts circles, but outside that community, he was still relatively unknown. Despite the trophies and titles, financial stability remained uncertain, and he continued teaching students to support his family. Yet the tournaments gave him something more valuable than fame. They reinforced the lesson he had learned years earlier in Korea. Persistence could overcome doubt. Every victory represented a personal milestone for a man who had once believed he was destined to remain unnoticed. Little did he know that an unexpected friendship would soon introduce him to a completely different world, the film industry. A friendship that changed everything. Chuck's transition into movies began through his friendship with Bruce Lee. The two martial artists respected each other's skills and often trained together. Bruce recognized something in Chuck that others had overlooked: authenticity. When Bruce Lee cast him in the film Way of the Dragon in 1972, it became Chuck's first major role in cinema. Their climactic fight scene in Rome's Colosseum captured audiences around the world and remains one of the most memorable moments in martial arts film history. The opportunity opened doors in Hollywood that had previously been closed to him. Although Chuck was still learning the craft of acting, the experience showed him that his presence on screen could resonate with viewers. More importantly, it began a new chapter where his martial arts background could be shared with a global audience. Rising to television fame. In the decades that followed, Chuck Norris appeared in several action films that gradually expanded his popularity. Yet his greatest breakthrough came in 1993 with the television series Walker, Texas Ranger. The show portrayed a principled lawman who combined martial arts skills with a strong moral compass. Although critics sometimes viewed the series as simple, audiences embraced its themes of justice, discipline, and courage. The program ran for 8 seasons and reached viewers across many countries, turning Chuck into a household name. Beyond the action scenes, the character represented values many people admired: loyalty, fairness, and determination. The success of the show brought financial stability and global recognition. For someone who once felt invisible, the transformation was extraordinary. Yet with success came the realization that fame did not always provide the personal fulfillment he had once imagined. Personal reflection and loss. As Chuck's career flourished, he also faced deeply personal challenges that changed his perspective on life. Over time, he reflected on the balance between professional ambition and family relationships. Like many people dedicated to demanding careers, he realized there were moments with loved ones that could never be recovered. The loss of his daughter later in life became a painful reminder of how precious time with family truly is. Grief forced him to slow down and reconsider what mattered most. Instead of focusing solely on achievements or public recognition, he began placing greater value on presence and connection with those closest to him. These experiences did not erase past regrets, but they encouraged growth and humility. Through reflection, he learned that strength is not only about persistence and discipline, it is also about acknowledging mistakes and striving to be better moving forward. Facing health challenges. In his later years, Chuck Norris also faced serious health challenges that reminded him of the limits of the human body. After decades of physically demanding work in martial arts and film, he required heart surgery to address serious medical concerns. The experience was humbling for someone long associated with toughness and endurance. Recovery required patience, rest, and reliance on medical professionals and family support. It was a powerful reminder that even the strongest individuals must sometimes slow down and accept help. Rather than viewing this period as defeat, Chuck approached it with the same discipline that once guided his martial arts training. Step by step, he rebuilt his strength and adjusted his lifestyle to prioritize health. The experience deepened his appreciation for each day and reinforced the importance of caring for both body and mind. The meaning of legacy. Today, Chuck Norris is widely recognized not only for his action films and martial arts achievements, but also for the humorous Chuck Norris facts that spread across the internet. While the jokes celebrate an exaggerated image of invincibility, the real story behind the legend is far more meaningful. His journey reflects perseverance, growth, and the willingness to learn from both success and regret. In recent years, he has devoted much of his energy to charitable efforts, including youth programs that teach martial arts discipline and life skills. These initiatives aim to help young people develop confidence and resilience, just as martial arts once helped him. Looking back, Chuck often emphasizes that true legacy is not built through fame alone, but through the positive impact we leave on others. In the end, his story reminds us that real strength lies in humility, compassion, and perseverance.